a star. This offseason, he wanted a break. The greatest basketball player most of us have ever seen, Michael Jordan, he took one too, actually a couple. Dave Chappelle, one of the funniest human beings on the earth, took a 2-year sojourn, a break, a hiatus, a sabbatical. You ever seen what pressure and intensity does to our presidents? They go in with a full, beautiful head of hair, and it comes out gray. We don't give ourselves enough time with ourselves. Aaron Rodgers talked about the offseason. He plays in a golf round today with a couple of golfers and Tom Brady. It'll be fun, I'm sure. But he talked about the intensity of the offseason and mental health, and here's Aaron.
Sometimes the loudest person in the room is not the smartest person. Sometimes the loudest person in the room is not the person who has all the facts on their side or the truth on their side. Sometimes there's a lot of wisdom in silence. Sometimes there's a lot of wisdom in being selective on what you say. And this off season, I spent a lot of time working on myself. The total package, not just my physical self, the workouts, but my spiritual self with my own mindful practices, my mental health as well. And that's what I've been doing this off season. And I'm very thankful for that time.
I like that, Aaron. You know, people sometimes with pressure compartmentalize things, and then there are people that just need to hide, and they get away. You've seen it in music with stars at young ages taking their own life. It's the pressure, it's the intensity. And now you add the avalanche of negativity and trolls on social media, and people tell you not to look at your phone. I've said that before, but even I sometimes look at my phone because, somebody calls, you go to Twitter. Twitter's got information. There's Instagram, and we're all human beings. You sometimes want to see what people think about you, and it's negative, and if you're young and you're got a million people from a million angles coming at you, it's tough. I like this, Aaron. Adam Silver said this not long ago. My players are rich and they're all miserable. Maybe NBA players need to give themselves more time to think about themselves, right? I'm not a big believer in coincidences. If you've listened to this show for years, you know that. I'm not a believer in fate. I'm not a believer in coincidences. You and I will make choices over the course of our lives, and results are via those choices. If at 45 you're miserable, look in the mirror. It's not mom and dad's fault, nor the president's. When I think of this last year for Aaron Rodgers, I also think of Russell Wilson. So Tom Brady's somebody that they're both kind of chasing, right? I mean, Kevin Durant wouldn't admit it, but he was kind of chasing LeBron. When you play in an era, in a time with a GOAT, and you play the same position as the GOAT, Tom Brady goes into the NFC, gets everything he wants. The GM's like, what do you want? And the coach is like, what do you want? And the players are like, Tom, what do you want? And he walks into the NFC and just wins everything. And maybe it's a coincidence, but Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, the two players close to Tom's age that are certainly in the conversation with Tom for, greatest current quarterback, right? We know the Mahomes, Josh Allen, but Aaron and Russell Wilson, those are mid-30 guys, right? They got Tom's chops. So Tom walks into the NFC, gets everything he wants from his GM, everything he wants from his coach, everything he wants from the locker room, everything he wants from the organization. And both Aaron and Russell start making demands to their respective organizations. Russell Wilson, for the first time ever, says, not go Hawks, go get me some players. That was very unique for Russell Wilson, the ultimate team guy. And then a couple months later, Aaron's like, no, I'm going to go public. I don't like my bosses. Now, this could be a total coincidence. Or it could be what Kevin Durant for years has faced. When you're in an era, you're facing a Tiger Woods, you're facing a Michael Jordan, you're facing a LeBron James, you're facing a Tom Brady, and they're getting what they want, and you're being compared to them all the time, and you're not getting what you want. I get it. I understand it. I understand Russell Wilson's frustration. I get Aaron Rodgers' frustration. And maybe this is a reach, and maybe it's strictly Completely coincidental. But this offseason for Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers, two of the greatest quarterbacks I've ever seen play, as they want what Tom wants. They want more titles, and they want more support, and they want people to listen to them. And damn it, they've earned it. And they're both right. And I like this, Aaron. However you do it, you can do it MJ's way or Dave Chappelle's way or Aaron Rodgers' way. However you do it to get right with yourself, give yourself time. We have a nation of doers and caffeinated people. We're on our phones and taking kids to practice. You deserve more time with you. Good for Aaron. All right, so tonight, we have the NBA Finals start. And I'm okay with ambiguity. Remember that show, The Sopranos? That was really good. It went on for years and years, HBO. It was very good. And then the final episode happened. And Tony Soprano, the mobster's in that diner with his family, and they're playing music. And it goes to black. And there was this sketchy guy that walked in the diner, and you're thinking, hey, that guy whacked Tony? What was the music that was playing? What was the music? What was the song that was playing? And he's there with his wife and his kids. And I'm not really sure how that ended. And I don't like it because it wasn't perfectly wrapped for me. And I don't like anything that's inconclusive. I don't like ambiguity. I want my movies to end happily or sadly, but I need an answer because I can't, and I'm really mad if you disagree with my answer, my interpretation of The Sopranos. I know what happened. None of us really do. It's ambiguity. It's inconclusive. And most people cannot handle that. They need a nice, tidy ending to make them happy as they drive home from the theater. That's why I love the ending of The Sopranos. It ticked people off, made you think. Wasn't easy. And that's why I like Chris Paul. He's not easy. We like our stars to jump like Michael and Kobe, be powerful like LeBron and Shaq. That's not Chris Paul. If Giannis wins a title, we'll still see him as a flawed player. We should not see Chris Paul that way, but there's this weird thing with Chris Paul. We don't think he plays like a star should. It is not neatly wrapped in a package the way I need to see it. He is not vertical. He is not powerful. He is nuanced and smart and clever and a leader. And he does a lot of little things that are hard to wrap your brain around, hard to see, hard to contextualize. I want my player to have big hands, palm the ball, and dunk over that player. That's a great player. We want him to have titles and to play a certain way, even if they're small. Dame and Steph got to be able to hit threes. They're small. Westbrook, Iverson, got to be super fast, break ankles. Chris Paul doesn't do any of that. Chris Paul is ambiguity. It's inconclusive, right? That's why he needs a title. So you can say Chris is great. Now, Chris has been great for years. But Chris is like the ending to The Sopranos. He leaves some of it to interpretation. There's nuance. I'm not sure. Why doesn't he do that? But he does that well. Not everything's laid out perfectly for you. And I think that's why I like him. The same reason I love the ending of Sopranos. It frustrates people. My life hasn't been a series of happy endings. It's been weird. I've traveled a lot. Bunch of states, 8 of them, 9 of them now. I've lost count. Hell, I've lived in 3 houses in L.A., and I've been here 5 years. I'm okay with it. I'm comfortable with non-traditional beginnings and endings. Most people aren't. And I love that Chris Paul isn't easy. He makes you think. All the time. Sometimes he drives you nuts. He drives coaches nuts. He drives teammates nuts. But that young group of guys in Phoenix loves him. The coach loves him. The fans love him. And he works for Phoenix now. And that's all I care about. He works for Phoenix now. Can't wait for the finals tonight. All right, a lot of stuff today. Chris Broussard going to stop by. We'll argue about a bunch of stuff.